Good morning. I am going to go a little bit different this morning. Sorry if I'm rather inconsistent with putting out these videos. Work, life, duty. I'm going to try something else. This is a high precision masking fluid marker drawing gum that I got from Hobby Lobby or somewhere. And so we're going to draw right here with this thing. And kind of work in reverse. If you've been paying attention to my other videos, I've done like a layer of paint and then drawn on top of it. Now I'm going to draw first. I'm actually looking at a reference photo for a cassette tape. And as you can see, I'm not worried about accuracy. I'm just trying to make just a fun little drawing. Lines don't have to be straight. Proportions don't have to be at 100%. Just having a good time drawing this morning. It's a Saturday morning, so I don't have any duties for a little while. There's a little interesting thing. I wonder if they're all squares. All the pictures that I've drawn so far, I've drawn circles for these pieces. But in this reference photo, they are squares. And then there's like a little screw in the corners. I have never used this masking pen before that I can remember, so I hope it actually works. If it works like I think it's going to work, this could be the quickest video I've ever made without editing. I'm not sure I'm using the pen right. I feel like it should be flowing more like a paint pen, I guess. I like that it has a little bit of color to it, so I can see where I've drawn. I was kind of expecting it to be a lot more clear. The masking fluid that I've used in the past is always coming in a bottle. That's pretty much the gist of a cassette tape. Over here it actually says 60 minutes, but I don't have room for that. I don't want to force it. Let's let that dry for a second, and then we'll put some ink over it and see what happens. Alright, I think it has sufficiently dried. By the way, this is my test sheet. I mean, this is in the book, and I'm just kind of going for it, but I've never, like I said, I've never used it before. And so this is also a test. Now, what beautiful colors do we want to use? I have some flame orange. Let's try that out. We put some retro colors up in here. feel like if I rub too hard, I'm going to rub the masking fluid off of it. That was a lot of ink with it. Maybe the whole background will just be orange. Or, if I don't want the whole background to be orange, I can blot some of this excess ink off. Right here today on January the 22nd, I think. Today is 1/22/22. Anyway, today it is currently, right now, outside my studio, it is like 29 degrees, which is really cold for South Mississippi. Let's see what happens if we put a little yellow on top of the orange. Can we make it a little yellower? I don't think I've got a lot of this yellow left. I meant to actually get some more yellow yesterday. Let us brush it on. Just a little bit. Let that dry a minute. Where's my hair dryer? I mentioned it being 29 degrees outside because inside my studio, where I've it was kind of surprising. It's really warm, not really warm, but it's warm enough, and it's surprising because this was an old carport that I am working in. It had tin sides and a tin roof, and a concrete floor, and that was it. Now I've got a new concrete floor. What do you call it? I finished out the inside a long time ago. I've actually done it a couple of times since then. I just dripped ink all down my fingers. How wonderful it is to be an artist. Alright, so that's going to be part of I'm going to use that ink. Waste not, want not, right? What I was wanting to do, one reason that I did orange, that I chose orange to begin with, is because the label on the reference photo that I'm using is orange. Alright, let's clean this off my hands. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but a good method or good material, chemical for cleaning off ink like this is Windex. Probably not good for my skin, but I don't usually use it on my skin. I usually use it on the table like this to clean the table off. It looks like my fingers are old and bruised. Windex is pretty good. I use it to clean the pens whenever I'm doing pen and ink. Where's my pen? Look at all these pens that I have. I have to find a way to organize these better. These are great. This came with some of the, well, it didn't really come with it. I think I bought them extra. But it's FW ink, and these are FW mixed media paint markers, and they were empty, and I filled this marker with this particular color of ink, and I've got a few of these, but that's not what I was going to show you. I was going to show you this. Whenever I want to clean these pens, like this, I have a bottle that came with pen cleaner in it, and it was Dr. P.H. Martin's Bombay pen cleaner. It came in a set of inks like this, and it was very effective for cleaning pen nibs. You just dip your nib down in there like that and wipe it off, and it was great. But when I ran out of it, I was a little aggravated, and the only way I could find to buy it, locally anyway, was to buy a whole nother set of inks, which I would have been really glad to do, but my wife talked me out of it. I had mentioned to her that it smelled like Windex, and she's like, well, why don't you just try Windex? It'll be cheaper. So I did, and it has worked out really, really well. So I filled my Bombay pen cleaner bottle up with Windex. So now you know. But that's not what you came here for. You came here because you wanted to watch me paint this cassette. I'm going to get a little bit more this blue ink. This is, by the way, Process Cyan is the name of the color, and I'm just doing the background with it lightly, and it makes this, what is that, green, brown, I don't know, it's probably not all that beautiful, but not all colors are meant to be beautiful. The ugly colors make the beautiful colors more beautiful. That's my theory anyway. Put a little bit here, since that's also negative space. That would also be background. And I know I'm being kind of sloppy here. I'm hoping for kind of a cool painterly look. It could be a total fail, but that's how you learn, right? And since this is my test page, maybe a really good page, I don't know. I think that blots almost too much off, but it is what it is. All right, let's go back to the hairdryer. All right, part of me wants to go ahead and rub this masking fluid off. Another part of me wants some blue in here, some like real blue that didn't turn green. And so I'm considering how I can do that effectively. And I think the best way to do that effectively might be to use some of this titanium white. Ooh. I'm not sure if I've ever used this stuff before. I just put a little bit of this in here. You see that? Just a little bit of that in there. And now I'm going to put a lot of this in there. And then I'm going to take a brush. The paint. The paint is cracking off my brush because I stick it in the water and I leave it, and the wood soaks up the paint. The wood soaks up the water, splits the paint, and it doesn't stick. I am cheap and irresponsible with brushes. Alright, now I'm going to mix that up. So I think that this will be more opaque than just the blue, especially the blue watered down that I was using. We're just gonna like I have a hard time leaving things alone when I do stuff like this. Just want a little bit. I wasted a lot of paint just for that little bit of whatever you call it. That little bit of swishy. It's a little swishy. Let me put some. I'm gonna add some darker blue, some indigo. Indigo. Sorry, the camera's bouncing. Indigo or Prussian. Prussian is pretty dark. Indigo is darker. Let's go with the Prussian. And I'm going to mix this into that same white and processed cyan mixture that I had, so it'll be opaque as well. And I'm going to get a different brush. Mix this together. I want a darker blue. That looks pretty good. And I don't know, but I think I like that a little bit better. Alright. We gotta let that dry, and then we will we'll rub off the masking fluid. Alright, I took a hairdryer to it. It's pretty dry. I think I can rub this stuff off. I'm gonna use, to rub it off, I'm gonna use this piece of an art gum eraser to start with, and the reason is because art gum erasers are like real gentle on paper. They don't tear, so this way maybe I won't smear my I'm just cleaning it over here on the side. Maybe I won't rub the paint off too much. Alright, it's coming off, but it might take a little bit more gumption than this. You know what I bet makes it hard to rub off is the white that I put on there. That I used to make the blue opaque. That doesn't want to come off. Under the orange it's fine because I didn't make that real thick. Alright, let me try a soap eraser. It's a little bit more aggressive of an eraser. Look there. It's coming off. It's not coming off under the blue as well as I'd like for it to. Alright. You can also use your finger to rub it off. So let's see what happens. That's working a little bit better, even in this really thick spot right here. You can see under the orange it's coming off real easily. Well, pretty easily. The problem with using your fingers to do this is if your fingers are dirty, you're gonna, or if the other paint's not completely dry, you're gonna get it places you don't want it to be. Also, some of these places, like right here, I think the masking fluid was too thin. And so it's just not going to come off there at all, because there's not really any there, and the paint kind of painted through it or something, maybe. Starting to come off. Now, on one hand, you might say this is a whole lot of work, like, to rub this off. But, I mean, it's really not. I haven't put in more than 3 minutes, and it's already mostly come off. Maybe a little bit more elbow grease than I was expecting it to, but that's okay. See that little spot right there? I think the blue is just like really thick. It should still come off with enough erasing. You're not technically erasing. See there, it came off. You're not technically erasing the stuff. You're rubbing it off the paper, and the thick acrylic paint that I put right there, it's not really made for acrylic paint. But the acrylic paint that I had right there was preventing it. Now, questions. What is the benefit of this over just using like a white paint pen or white paint to draw it? Well, the difference might be very subtle, but I think there's a different look, a different appearance when you use the white masking fluid. I broke my eraser. When you're using the white masking fluid, when you're using the masking fluid, the appearance is a little bit different than a white paint pen. It's just subtle difference. Another reason is because, like I said, this is not really made for acrylic paint. It's usually made, people usually use this for watercolor. And watercolor, you achieve white by leaving the paper white, or at least that has been the traditional method. And so in order to leave the paper white effectively, sometimes you have to use masking fluid. Alright. There it is, my friends. I'm kind of pleased with the way it turned out, and so I don't feel like I have to call that a test piece anymore, even though it was. So now I think I'm going to do another one over here, using what I now know to make another picture, all for the price of one. Here's my masking fluid, and here goes nothing. When I say all for the price of one, I mean like you're getting 2 drawings today for the price of 1. I'm just going to do some little freehand tape cassettes. With fewer details. Another problem that I've had with masking fluid in the past is that it dries up on the brush. I don't know if there's been improvements in masking fluid since then, but I don't like this. It's like got some kind of eraser or something on it, and it's not very thick. Anyway, so I don't know if they've made a lot of improvements in masking fluid, and if this masking fluid is any better. So far, it feels better. Like it goes on smoother, comes off easier than stuff I've used in the past, and it hasn't dried out on me. I expected it to like work one time with this pen and then dry out. I'm making subtle changes in size. Like these two are a little bit longer than those two were, because I don't want my cassette tapes to be like a perfect grid. Although it's going to be a little bit close. I'm not sure why that is in my brain like that. Like, why shouldn't it be a perfect grid? Alright, so like there's less color with this, so I don't know. Do I need to, I guess, depress it? I hate to depress things. Yeah, I want things to be happy. You see what I did there? Did you hear that pun? Like, cassette tapes are generally all the same size and shape, but I want some variety here. Just a subtle amount of variety. Which I guess I'm going to get that subtle variety anyway, doing these all by hand like this. Look, all these cassette tapes look like little people with frowns. It didn't take too long to do draw a bunch of cassettes. I teach school, and what I get from students a lot is, that's going to take forever. That takes too long. You must have been bored. Yeah. This is about as much like I don't know. This is not bored. Like how much time you spend on your phone looking at Snapchat? You must be bored. This is not boredom. This is me having a good time right here. Um, first thing in the morning, drawing pictures, making stuff with my own hands. Boredom is when you don't have anything to do except get on Facebook. I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes. I know, like, I get on Facebook a lot, but don't try and insult me by calling this boredom when I'm producing something that's kind of sort of never been produced before. I'm sure somebody's done drawings of cassettes before, but not exactly like this. Not exactly this way. I don't know. Maybe they have. But this is not boredom. This is having a good time. This is doing something, I think, kind of productive. What do you think? Would I be more productive if I spent all of my time scrolling through Snapchat, Instagram, or Facebook? Or is this a good use of my time? Would you rather be scrolling through Facebook, Instagram, or or Snapchat, or TikTok, or would you rather be drawing? You can tell me in the comments down below. If you haven't already, please give me a like, give me a thumbs up while you're scrolling through YouTube. I do spend too much time on Instagram, YouTube. I'm preaching to myself as much as I'm preaching to anybody else. I don't mean to sound hypocritical. I just know that in the end, nobody's going to have probably nobody, I hope nobody, has a record of how much time I actually spent on Instagram, but they hopefully do see and appreciate some of this art that I've done. I think my cassette tapes are getting bigger as I go down the page. I'll tell you one thing that does happen. You cannot see this in the video. That is that my hand right now is numb. I am drawing with, like, my fingers right here are numb. I have apparently got carpal tunnel syndrome, and I have a splint that I'm supposed to wear on my arm, and I do. I'm supposed to sleep in it and wear it as often as I can. And I slept in it last night, and then this morning I took it off. But my hand is numb right now, and I'm going to have to stop drawing in just a few minutes to let it recover. But I am determined to get these cassette tapes drawn first. Alright, I'm going to have to pause for just a second. My hand is too numb. Alright, that might be sufficient. Who did you have a cassette tape of? If you listened to cassette tapes when you were growing up, who did you have that you listened to so many times you ruined the cassette? Like, cassettes only have like so much life to them before they wear out, and I wore out a couple of cassette tapes. I had a bootleg AC/DC Back in Black on cassette tape, and I played that so much that that it wouldn't play. Well, I played it so much, and it still would play, but there was some definite gargle after a while. Alright, that's where I'm going to stop right there. Look at what it looks like up close. Sorry about the lighting. I know I've got this shadow right here. I'm going to fix that pretty soon. But I had a ring light that helped out, and I have taken my ring light to work and not brought it back. So look, I was using the side over here as like a little test piece, and I can just wipe that off. I can feel how sticky these are. These are they're not sticky, but they're like rubber, so they're kind of sticky. Alright, so we're going to do this a little bit different than I did the other one. I didn't know that was going to come out like so perfect, or I'd had some overlap more. Maybe it's not too late. Maybe that's too much. Oh well. It is what it is. Alright, we're going to let that dry. It shouldn't take long. And then we're going to rub it off. Look at the magic. I wonder if using the hair dryer on it like seals the stuff better. Oh look, it actually comes off better with my finger. I feel like I'm DJing. I'm gonna have this made into life-size, like, wallpaper for my house. Would you do a wall and wallpaper like this? Alright, I wonder what's going on right there that it doesn't want to come up. There we go. I like it. I like it a lot. I think there's lots of things that I can do to make it a little bit better. And I might do that in the future. Probably not, but maybe. That's it. That's it. Thank y'all for hanging out with me today. Thank you for watching this video whenever you're watching this video. I hope it inspired you. I hope you will go out and make some art. I hope this is not too ugly. Here's some of the other pages that I've done. There are videos for some of these. You might want to go back and look at them. I don't know. And these are just like little ideas that might end up being a painting one day. So, maybe. Again, thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below. Go watch another one of my videos. Or better yet, get off of social media right now. Get off the computer and go paint or draw something. Talk to you later.